Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a new episode in making your own Fortresscraft Evolved mod with XML code. Now, before we start this mod today, I would like to say a big thank you to DJ and a very big thank you to Nick, who are very good devs, because we had a massive problem with our mods the other day and I got a little bit stressed. I've apologised to both of them, and again thank you very much for their efforts in sorting it out. And basically what we found out was that one of the files in the world was corrupt. That's why the mod wasn't working, because when we sent it out to my tester and I sent it out to Nick, it was working, but it's all fixed now, so we can carry on. So these are one of the reasons why that if you make a mod, make sure that you back up your world and you use a copy of your world, okay, to test your mod. Do not change code in the game that you're playing, because when the game assigns a value to your data, it can sometimes corrupt. Very rare that it will do that, but if it does do that and you have the same problems that I had, you have to reload your backup, delete you know, so you can make sure that you can go back a stage to find out where it went wrong, and you will get it fixed. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at terrain data entry. Now this I know works. It's been sent to me by Nick, okay, and we've done everything to test it and stuff and all like that, and we're going to explain to you today how to put your own block into the world. Now this is not our own block. We're going to cover this little bit in the next episode, but I thought I'd put it up there for you so you can see that it is slightly different. Okay, so we're going to go down to our one that we've made, and this is called lignite. Okay, now this is when you are putting in your block. You've made a block called lignite and you want to be able to place it in the world, okay, because you've made it and you say, yes, I want to put it in there. So this is how we do it. First of all, you're going to need your terrain data, okay, right, and you need to have is override false, and it's going to be false because you're not overriding anything. You're not overriding a coal block, you're not overriding the machine, because you're putting in a new block, your block. The key obviously is your name, which is your ID name, and then the name that you called the block. Now remember, this does not go in your items. If you put this in items, okay, it will crash. You cannot have an item in the terrain data and you cannot have a terrain data in the items data. They're two different entities, okay. Alright, it's like chalk and cheese, they can't be mixed. Well, they can, but it's disgusting. Right, so the name lignite, that is oh, where was that? That goes on, I believe, if we put in this code here, that is the menu name, I believe. I could be slightly wrong here, but I just do know that that goes in the GUI, okay. I don't think it's the inventory GUI, it's the manufacturing GUI. There are two different GUIs, because we're having a little bit of problems with some of them. Research value. Now this is very interesting. Do you want to give people that are going to use your mod the ability to get extra research points? Because you can make this research value here any level you want, okay. So you can make it 1, you can make it 0, you can make it a million. But you've got to get the balance right, people. Okay, because if you just say, right, okay, you scan that block, you make that block, yeah, and you get 10,000 research points, it's game over for research because you got all the research points. I put in research values because what I want to do is say, right, okay, I'm going to give you 1 research point, because when you go and do the next level of coal that I'm going to say that you can crush, you're going to need to have 5 research points, okay, or you're going to need 1 research point. Okay, so you can't do it until you've scanned this, you've got your research point to get to the next level. If you look at the way DJ has done his, yeah, you can see that it's a progression value. So that is what is there. If you want people to use the new blocks and not get any research points, set it to 0. Okay. Layer type. Primary terrain. If you don't know what you're doing with the layer type, leave it as it is. Don't change it. Okay. If you want more information about these, read the manual that comes with the game. Okay, I don't touch it, I leave it as is. Now, top texture, side texture, bottom texture, GUI texture. Now, these are how the block is going to look in game, and the only textures that you can use at the moment are the ones that are provided from Fortresscraft Evolved. Hopefully we'll be able to put our own textures in the future. At the moment we can't use our own. Alright, actually it's strictly not true, but we're going to go with that at the moment. So how do you find out what texture to use? Well, basically you go into Fortresscraft Evolved, go into the creative mode and look at all the available blocks that are there and say, I like that texture. What is it called? It's called a coal ore block. Yeah, so you then go into the code of the game, a Fortresscraft game, yeah, and you either go into an item or you go into the TerrainData and you find out what the texture number is. And I know that 213 is a neo circuit texture. Okay, so it looks like kind of a little bit of machinery. So I want the whole cube to look like that. Okay, I think it's, is it, no, sorry, lignite, that is, I think that looks like coal. I think that's coal, not the other one. So you go and find the number, and that's the only way that you get. There is no information out there at the moment to tell you what texture is what number. If someone out there wants to do that, send me a text file. I'll put it on my website so people can go and see what they are, but that's going to be a huge amount of work. Stages. I do not know what this is, and you'll see that it does not have an open closed door. Open closed door is this. Okay, you've got an open part, you've got a closed part. This is just locked. It means something. I don't know what it means. I'm not touching it. Okay, and I suggest that you leave it as is as well. Now, the next bit, these bits. If I was you, I would read the PDF file on this. Okay. Now, according to the file, I'm just going to see if I can bring it up. Let me close that because I do have the PDF file somewhere. There we go. So I'm going to shove that onto the other screen so we can still see this, and I'm going to see and find if I can find it in the terrain, because each cube and item has a different meaning, and this is what you've got to look at time and time and time again. Don't just expect to program it and think, well, that should do that, because it don't always happen that way. Okay. Right. Okay, just scrolling through it. Right, okay, so that's not working there. No. No running recipes there. I don't want recipes, I want the terrain data. Come on, where's the terrain data? Right, okay, here we are. Right, so the first one that we're looking at, the hidden and is solid. Where is it? I can't find the meaningful hidden, but I presume you can hide it. Okay, the next one is solid, indicates whether this block should be considered a solid. So if you want them, I presume, to be walked on, or if it's going to be a liquid, then you know you ought to say yes or no. I've actually never messed around with that. Might mess around with that later on. Is transparent, self-explanatory. You either see it or you don't. Is hollow. Now, is hollow are things like leaves. Okay, so if you want to put in a new block and make a new tree, yeah, but you want your leaves on so it looks a little bit different, that is what it is, because it's using light going through it and everything. That is the best way I can explain it. Right, is passable means whether you can walk through it or not. Okay, obviously if you want it as water, it's got to be that you can walk through it. You can make a door that you can just walk through, because we don't have doors yet. Is it paintable? Now this is not in the manual yet, because Nick hasn't updated it, and he will be updating it in the next week or two. So is paintable, because we do have a paint gun. We've said that this is false, but if you want to be able to paint the block, turn it to true. Has object, indicates if a graphical object should be spawned for this block other than a regular cube. So I think that means we can put on our own text, our own designs, but again, not 100% sure, not 100% sure if it's implemented. Okay, so only the devs can say yes or no to that yet. I still don't know if it is a valid one, but we've left it as is, which is true. Has entity, indicates if an entity should be spawned for this block. An entity is an object in code which can have behavior and additional serialized data. I have no idea what that is trying to say there. To me, that is trying to say that it's a mob. Okay, again, might be totally wrong there. Again, I've left it as true. Material. Okay, the category material. Again, this is not in the PDF file, so we don't know what it means. Okay, but I presume because it's a material block like dirt, it's going to be classed that it's not going to be able to pull any power or anything like that, because you don't want to put down a machine or a power cube and then, because you've got your new lignite down, it's going to pull the power out, it's going to suck it out. Okay, so it's classed as a dirt block, so it doesn't pull out your power. That's what I believe is on there. Audio walk type. There's no list of any audio walk type that I can find. So again, I've been going through the terrain data in DJ's FC code, and I found some bits and pieces that you can have, and I've chose sand, so when you walk on lignite it sounds like you're walking on sand. Audio build type, dirt. Okay, again, when you put the block down it will sound like you're putting down blocks. Audio destroy type we've left as none. Now these tags here, okay, right, these tags here, when you go into creative, yeah, you can say whether people can use your blocks in creative, but you've got to give it a tag category. You can put these in any tag category that you want. I've only just left it to outdoor. Okay, now this is also new, which is fuel. So you've got your open and got your bits down here. Again, we're not too sure what this does, but we are presuming that when we burn this energy, because it's fuel, yeah, it has an energy of 1024. We've got to mess around with that, and we'll get back to you, and we will explain that in a separate thing once we've tested it to find out whether we can burn it. Okay, because that will be good for things like furnaces and things like PTGs and stuff like that. So you're making a stronger type of fuel, yeah, you want it to be able to be burnt. Particle lifetime is 2. We have no idea what that is, and again it's not in the PDF, and we will try and get back to that. What I have to do is search through DJ's FC XML code and find out what coal has and stuff like that. And that is how you add your own block. Okay, again, if you're not going to be able to burn it, don't put in the fuel. Okay, alright, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for this episode. In the next episode we're just going to go over the override one, because that's a little bit more kind of complicated, but it shouldn't be too hard to get through, and I don't want these tutorials on how to do the code to be very long. So have fun, stay safe, we'll see you on the bounce for the next episode. Bye for now.